Let's get started.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in once again to the Manny Hall Show. I have with me Chanel.
Hey everybody.
Listen, there's so many amazing things that you might not know about her. She has some hidden talents that I just found out this week. But you're going to be able to hear all those great things that she's done, that she's doing, and that she's going to do in the future. If you ain't got her album yet, you better go get that too. But we're going to talk about that and a whole bunch of other things. Chanel, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go, Manny Hall Show.
Let's go.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Amazing. Please tell the people your name and what you do.
I am Chanel Angelique, and I am a licensed hair braider, a naturalist. I specialize in hair growth, braiding. I do a lot of braids, any style that consists of natural, no chemicals, no color or relaxer. My goal is hair growth, basically, to help Black women to really grow our hair out to its full potential.
Gotcha. That's what's up. So what's a naturalist? That sounds really cool, but I want to know like really what it is.
So a naturalist, that could be a few things, but for the most part, basically, we don't use any chemicals here in the salon.
Okay.
As far as we go is a nice shampoo.
Gotcha.
But we don't do anything as far as like relaxers, anything that will change the texture of your hair.
Okay.
Or anything that will stunt the growth of your hair, we don't do here.
Gotcha. And so when someone says they're a naturalist, that's only related to hair?
You know what? That can also mean as far as diet.
Okay.
That can mean you. A lot of people are starting to go in the direction of no genetically modified foods, no processed foods, organic. So it can also mean that.
Okay.
But as far as me, I'm more so as far as the hair portion of it. Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So for me, being that I don't currently have any hair right now, so I'm bald, I remember like going to the shops. And I just got to tell you this funny story that I've never said on the show, but I want to get it out. So when I first found out I was bald, Chanel, the guy was just like, cut my hair, my normal barber, right? And so, why are you laughing already? Did I tell you this story already?
No.
Oh,
Go ahead, I'm
okay.
listening.
I thought I maybe told you, like, man, I remember that. But so he cut my hair, then I'm like, all right, let me see the mirror. And then I'm looking at it like, man, you messed my hair up. He put his hand on my shoulder and was like, man, it's time. And I was like, time for what? It was like, you're going bald.
That's
and
funny.
It's already started. I was like so salty though.
Why was you salty?
Because I'm like,
you wasn't ready?
I wasn't ready and I didn't think that was really happening. But it's like at that time I didn't look in the back of my head like, oh, let me check if I'm going bald. Like who does that just to check? But then when I found out, I was really salty. But the reason I was saying that, there was a shop, kind of like in the same building. And I remember always like going over to the other side to see like the beauticians and seeing what they were doing. And I always like found it really interesting in the way that they served people there. And for this particular shop, do you guys like have any special way that you serve your clients? Anything that kind of stands out that's different than other salons around the area?
What I like about this salon is even though we don't have an esthetician, like someone who does like massages or waxes or anything like that, it's kind of like a spa setting. So we offer drinks, we offer snacks, and we play therapeutic music. So that's pretty much what we kind of offer here.
Yeah.
It's a really friendly environment.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of a no gossip zone, and my mom used to tell me how salons, it's a lot of gossip that goes on in salons because it's always a lot of women, and there's always a lot of relatable topics to talk about and sometimes they can go south, but we try to keep it a really, gossip free zone. Not saying we never talk, because, ladies, when we get together, we talk.
Yeah.
But it's a really friendly environment. So I feel like that's something that we can offer to our clients.
You know what messed me up? And I'm gonna have you like get your phone out real quick so you can look this up.
Okay.
So I looked up the definition of gossip today,
Uh-huh.
and I was like surprised at the definition because I always thought that gossip was like telling somebody's business and like saying stuff, that was true. You know what I'm saying? But you just like telling too much of their business. But the definition said gossip is like telling stories about people and talking about them for stuff that isn't true or might not be true. Do you see it?
Oh, wow.
Ain't that crazy?
Hold on. Okay, so it's two of them, and actually it's the exact opposite of what I was thinking. One of them is this state or describe exactly the nature, scope, or meaning of. So it's basically like you just describing something.
Right.
And then the other one is mark out the boundary or limits of. That's crazy. I always thought it was a negative thing.
I did too. Yeah, that's crazy on my part when I saw it. I was like, dang, maybe I'm really not gossiping. Maybe I'm just telling people's business. And okay, that could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if I'm like talking about them, but then I thought about like a lot of stuff we use in the church, like backbiting and you shouldn't gossip. It's like, based on the definition, how is that a bad thing?
Yeah, it's crazy how you can grow up thinking something, but then it's something that's positive can be negative.
Yep, exactly. Wow. And I think that and this is getting to a whole nother subject, but I think sometimes it's like, like propaganda. Like they make us feel that some words are bad, some things are bad. But like, I thought about it the other day with my wife, like, words that we call cuss words. Like, who's to say that it was a cuss word? Somebody had to one day say, like, F word is bad, S word is bad, you can't call somebody B-I-T-C-H, but it's like, why can't decision be a bad word?
Yeah.
Why can't luck be a bad word? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had that conversation before. And it's like, you know what? When you really think about it, they're not really curse words. But I know, like, if my nephew walked in my room right now and said one of those words to me, I would be jumping up ready to whip his little butt.
Right.
But at the same time, like you said, it's crazy how we can take something so positive or something that's really nothing and make it something that is not even intended to be.
Exactly.
So yeah, I definitely hear you on that.
Yeah, and it's like, and I was supposed to ask you other questions about how you got started, but hey, it's my show. I be feeling like I can do what I want, Chanel.
It's your show.
You know,
do what you want to.
But anyway, so and it kind of makes me think about like us and our society as well. Like we buy into these lies and systems that we have to act a certain way, that everybody has to look like this. Like as we were talking before the show started, like about makeup, like who's to say that you have to wear makeup? Like, and you were talking about Alicia Keys and how beautiful she looks, how her freckles are showing, and that's dope. And it's just like that pure authenticity that you can show your audience, your friends, your family. Like, I feel like that's really dope. That's really important.
Yeah. I was saying, sometimes, like, I'll have on a full face of makeup sometimes, and I'll think I'm looking my best. And my boyfriend will say, you look beautiful. But then, like, when I have a raw face, like, no makeup, he's like, wow. Like, it's a different reaction. So, I know they say the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But, like we were saying about Alicia Keys, she does not wear makeup at all. And her face is absolutely beautiful. Sometimes she wears a hair wrap, so her hair is even covered. So it just gives her audience, and it gives people the chance to actually see how beautiful she really is without any cover up.
Yeah, like what are we hiding from, Chanel?
You know what? That is a good question. A lot of times it's something that's within. Sometimes it's a cover up. We may think it's just our outer appearance, but it could be insecurities. It can be a lack of self-confidence. Yeah. We can sometimes feel, okay, I have to wear makeup in order to look beautiful.
Gotcha.
Because that's sort of the image that's kind of portrayed in the media or even our peers. Even in high school, I noticed a lot of high school students are, and even middle school students are wearing heavy makeup. And not to say it's a bad thing, but what are we teaching our children? When we make comments to each other, are we praising each other for having a full face of makeup because it's art, or are we praising each other for having a full face of makeup because it's covering up what we don't think is as beautiful? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's like, I wish there was like a balance, because like you'll see the people wear a whole lot of makeup, they're praised, but then the people that go against makeup completely, they're praised in their own individual way. Like, yeah, forget makeup, you look dope by yourself. But then it's like the person got a little makeup on, like they don't fit into either equation, because it's like you're not being supernatural, but then you don't have a whole cake face. But it's just like, at the end of the day, like you're saying, like you're beautiful. And I think that especially women, you guys need to get away from that thinking of, oh, they just saying we're beautiful, trying to pump us up. But like, no, literally, we are trying to pump you up for you to understand and believe like that you were made to be beautiful, amazing. And everybody might not agree.
Yeah.
With, I mean, like, some people like think that short, bald head guys that look like Manny like are the absolute worst in the world. I get it. You know, they might not like light skins with braids. We get it. That's okay. But at the end of the day, there's somebody that loves us.
Yeah.
And we can't be out here trying to compete for love and attention from everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then I think also it's the motive behind it.
Yeah.
Like, when we put on our makeup, are we doing it because we feel like we are ugly underneath? Or is it because I know a lot of amazing makeup artists. My sister is one of them.
Yeah.
And that's her art.
Yeah.
Like, just like for me, hairstyling and singing, that's my art.
Right.
And a lot of people, I know there's a few men, I have clients, their husbands and their significant others, they don't like for them to wear extensions or weave, as people call it.
Right.
But that weave is my art. Like, I have weave in my hair right now. And I think it's more so the motive behind it. Are we really loving ourselves? Do we really believe that we are beautiful underneath our makeup? Or are we putting it on only to cover up what we don't feel is as beautiful? Gotcha. So I think it's the motive behind it, I think.
That makes sense. All right. So when did you start doing hair? What got you into that particular line?
So what a lot of people don't know about me is I've been braiding hair since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
I'm 30 now. So what got me into it, and I would never say anything to take away from my upbringing, but my mother, she raised 4 girls and 1 boy. And my father, they were very busy, with 5 children. It's kind of hard to be at home all the time. And so me and my sisters, we had to kind of figure out how to do our hair on our own when my mother was not able to do it. And I got teased really bad in school, and this is really crazy, this story. So it was these girls, I used to always wear my hair in like this puff ball on the top of my head. And it was never combed out. I just used to pull it up. And these girls, they plotted on me in school. I was in like the 5th grade. No, the 3rd grade. So they said, they betted that if they put a pencil through my hair, that either it would break in half because my hair was so nappy, or would it come out?
Wow.
So the girl, my head was down on my desk because I wasn't feeling well that day. She put the pencil in my hair, and sure enough, it snapped in half.
What?
And the whole class was laughing so hard.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm tired of being teased because of my hair. So I know my older cousins, they used to braid a lot. So I paid attention to how my cousin was moving her fingers when she was braiding hair this one day. And I thought, like, that's something I can learn how to do. So then I tried it, and I got it right. And then I tried to add hair when I was 12 years old, and I knew how to do it. So then I started with my sisters, and then I used to braid the girls' hair in the neighborhood. I used to charge $10 for every style, but that was my hustle when I was 12 years old.
That's a nice little money, though.
Yeah. Yep. So that's how I pretty much got started. So it's always been a passion,
Yeah.
but I kind of put it to the back burner because I have a even stronger passion for music.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard to balance the two. So I kind of put music first.
Yeah, that makes sense. So tell me about the music. How did you get into that?
So my dad said I was singing since I was 2 years old.
Okay.
He said I would sing Whitney Houston songs. I would have the right notes but the wrong words. So yeah, that's how I pretty much got started in singing. I used to be too shy, too scared to sing. So I would sing when people would ask me to sing. I would say only if you turn around and close your eyes. So like I went from that to being able to sing like in front of like massive audiences.
Wow.
I sing at a lot of weddings. I sing at funerals. I sing at professional sporting events like the Cavs, the Indians, the Browns. And I've written 2 all original albums. One,
Nice.
Psalms of Chanel Angelique, and then the other one I just released on my 30th birthday, Above Sea Level. And then a Christmas album with just like some Christmas favorites in 2012.
Nice.
So music for me, I've been very passionate about music for a really long time. I didn't really get into it until I deployed. A lot of people don't know that about me either. I'm a 10-year Army veteran. And when I deployed in 2009, I was asked to be in a play where I was, my name was Songbird, so that's how I got the nickname.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, pretty much music is like my escape.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one time I get to be myself 100%.
Yeah.
I don't have to hide me. I don't have to act any sort of way. I can just be myself and I can be transparent and I can relate to a lot of women. So
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I remember seeing you like for the first time on social media, and my wife had been talking about you. And so look, this is like a real story. So like, don't judge me and don't even get mad at me.
I don't know what
Okay.
you about to say, so I'm gonna just
Like,
sip my tea.
Yeah, definitely do that because you might not like me after this, but I'm just gonna be honest.
All
with
right,
you.
we keeping it real on the Manny
Yeah,
High Show.
obviously
so
we are.
Go
But
ahead.
you're gonna like me. It's still cool. So my wife had been talking about you like for a while, and she was like, "Yeah, like she's so dope. Like she in Cleveland." And I wasn't trying to be negative, but it's like we might have been like arguing in the car about something this day, and I'm just like, "Who is this girl? Like whatever." You know what I'm saying? Like she like, I just love this song, and it's like,
Aw,
and I'm like,
I knew I loved you, girl.
listen. So she kept playing it, and she like played like 4 or 5 times in a row. And then her sister, they was talking about it. She's like, I love this song, Chanel, so dope. And I'm like, where's she from? Like, she from Cleveland? Like, whatever. Like, I'm not studying this girl like that. Like, this song is like starting to annoy me because like you keep playing it. Like I was saying in my head, Chanel, like, all right, it's like way dope. But you ain't got to keep playing it. You know what I'm saying? After the second time, I was like, okay, I like her words. I like the music. It's cool, but, like, stop playing it. And so as time went on, like, I finally, like, saw you on social media, saw your heart, and I was like, I like her. She cool peoples. And then it made me appreciate your music that much.
Well,
But
I
that
appreciate
wasn't that bad.
But you're not the only one that felt that way.
Okay.
I had one of my clients. She was saying how she played my CD around the house, and her boyfriend said, if I hear that CD one more time, I'm gonna break it.
Wow.
And not in a negative way, but you know, women, we can play songs.
Man,
When we hear a good
like,
song, we need to hear it over and over and over. Don't judge us, guys.
I don't know
and
why
if my
that
boyfriend,
is.
you will see this. Don't judge me either, because when I hear Boyz II Men or Whitney Houston, I'm playing it over and over and over. So don't judge me.
Right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, so let's peek into your past.
Okay.
So, you know, you are singing.
Uh-huh.
You got this great skill to do hair. Some people know about it, some others don't. But as you were like climbing towards your place of success where you are right now, like show us like some of that. Some of the good, some of the bad. Like let's peek into your past, because I don't want people to have a false perception of, if I want to be a great singer like Chanel, like my life is going to be perfect. I'm not going to go through any difficulties. I want them to have a balance and really understand.
So I think the biggest thing that everybody should understand is nothing great is going to be easily obtained. You're going to have to go through things. It is never meant to harm you, but it's meant to mold you to be able to receive what you ask God for, right?
Yeah.
Like they say, you get whatever you ask God for, He will prepare you for it. So, getting to where I am now, I've had my heart broken a lot. I've heard a lot of no's. I've heard people say she cannot sing at all. I've heard people say she can sing very well. I've heard you're not industry material. I heard you're not ready. I've even heard you have to do this with me in order for you to meet this person that can get you to the next level. And so I've had to say no to a lot of opportunities as well, so I don't compromise my integrity. It's never a easy road, and I don't care how much people smile. I don't care how good it may look on camera. Like I said, nothing great is easily obtained, and that's for a good reason. I've dealt with a lot of issues in my childhood. I was physically abused. I did not do well in school at all growing up. It's a lot of things that I had to go through. And I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and we were talking about how, in order for us to write these songs, we have to experience them first. And that can hurt really bad.
Yeah.
That can hurt really bad. Just like, I know, going back to, we were talking about how I wrote the comment on Marlia's Facebook about how she's so inspiring, because at the end of her book signing, she had gave this speech, and she was just like really pouring her heart out, and and just saying like, you can do whatever you want to do, and just, if you need help, seek help, and like, just, I think for me, seeing other women, even if it's not in music, seeing other women go for something really hard, it gives you fuel to say, okay, I see somebody else who went through something, maybe just as bad as me, or maybe something worse, and they're doing it. So I need to push forward in the directions of my dreams too.
Gotcha. That's dope. And it's like, with all the stuff that we go through, I think it might at that time confuse us into believing we won't get through it and we won't be successful because of those things, but it's always a lie, you know what I'm saying? Like, I when I was in high school, I did like really, really bad. My GPA when I graduated was a 1.8.
I think that was higher than mine.
You think so?
It was a point where I was so scared to tell people about this.
Yeah.
Like, my closest friends didn't even know, unless they actually went to school with me.
Gotcha.
But I was in the 9th grade. I was 14 years old when I quit high school. And what was so bad about it was, so I went along to get my GED.
Yeah.
And I got all high scores. So if I would have only finished, like, imagine how good and still to this day, I still beat myself up about it. But then when I try to beat myself up about it, I try to put that energy towards a project.
Yeah.
You know?
But I feel like when we go through stuff, whether we planned it or not, we give ourselves access to touch some people that we would have never touched before. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, with all the stuff that I've been through, like with that story with my GPA, and then my bachelor's, I had a 3.9, and my master's, I had a 4.0.
See?
Like, and I really attribute that, for me, was having the ability to teach myself. Because, like, sitting in a traditional classroom, like, I don't have ADHD, I don't have ADD, but I just felt like sitting there listening to you on a particular subject that I had no interest in at all was hard for me to concentrate on that.
Yep.
And like giving myself the ability to now study things that I like business, then I'm like, cool, this is dope. Like, I want to learn all I can about this. And probably you the same way. So it's like a lot of the kids that we see like dropping out, choosing to leave, not really being engaged and focused in classes, they're just not interested in the material. And it's like, if you allow them to walk towards their purpose, the stuff that they have an interest in, you'll see them come alive.
Yeah, I want to agree with that 1,000%, because My sister just recently took my niece out of public schools and she put her into private schools. Me, I always thought like private school just were like really strict. You couldn't do nothing. It was like a Catholic setting where you just had to be like a perfect child.
Yeah.
But my sister said when she took my niece in, they had a welcome banner for her, welcoming her to the school. They had one of her peers give her a tour. They let them build. They let them cook. They let them they really tap into their art.
Gotcha.
And I really feel like if the schools would, and not to get too off topic.
No, this is good.
If the schools would really channel in on what children are passionate about, instead of saying, oh, because he doesn't do well in math, then he's not, like you said, he has ADD or ADHD. Maybe he's just not interested. Like,
Man, listen.
Can somebody make you do something that you're not interested in?
Listen, I just interviewed a teacher, I think Monday, and she was talking about the same stuff. She was like, man, I hated math. And I hate math to this day. And she was like, and she told the principal, don't put me in no class where I got to teach some math to some older kids because I ain't going to do good at it. And that's real. And it's just like for me and my wife, like we have 2 of our kids homeschooled. And like they'll never go back to school. Like my little son, that's 5 months, he will never go to school.
Yeah.
And I'm not totally against school to act like it's not of value, but it's part of this large system, I feel like. And it's like, I was listening to this podcast the other day, Chanel, and it said that we teach kids to get to the next level, the next grade, but we never teach them for life.
Wow.
And you think about that, it's like you're in kindergarten, I got to prepare you for first grade. All first grade, I got to prepare you for second grade. Now I got to prepare you to take this test that you got to pass a state test. But it's like all the preparation is not like, hey, let me show you how to balance a check. Let me take a trip to the bank to show you how to do this. Let's talk about investments. Let me teach you some other things that you might have interest in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that part is missing.
Yeah, and you know what? What's so crazy is I have a lot of, in this setting, I have a lot of serious conversations with women. And I mean this with no disrespect.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that work their entire lives and still don't know what they want to do.
True.
And just imagine as a child, you go to a school and they see something that you like or you love, and then they put you in a setting where you can really explore that thing. Imagine that child 20 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like that child will probably be exactly what they wanted to be from the jump, because a lot of people ask me, how did you discover what you love to do? How did you just tap in it? How are you so fearless about it? And my answer is, when I knew what I wanted to do, finally, I've put all of my focus on that. Like at one point, nothing else mattered.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So like you left school 14, right? So age like 15, 16, are you singing at this time?
No.
No?
Nope.
Well, when did you get back?
So what this is kind of, I'm gonna give you like a quick timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. So quit school at the age of 14. I started to go to life skills.
Okay.
I quit there also. Then I started working a job. I used to work from 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. This is really crazy, but
As
this
a
is
kid?
real. Yes. From the age of 15.
You was in China?
What? No. So from the age of 15 to the age of 18.
Okay.
So I started Bryan and Stratton College. I went to school for 1 semester, just one, and I was miserable. I went to the career counselor, and I said I want a degree in music. She said, well, we don't offer music here, but I can help you to get in a program where you can be a medical assistant, and it'll help you to make the money to be able to, and you get a good GPA, you can get accepted into a nice school, music school.
Gotcha.
So not really having any direction, I agreed. Then I'm like, this is not for me. I literally quit the first semester. I was working full time, could not afford my apartment, so I went off to the Army.
Wow. Okay.
At the age of 19, I joined the Army. And it was when I joined the Army, they actually had things for us to do in our downtime. And one of them was a choir. So I'm like, okay, I like to sing. I joined the choir, and I was like, man.
So all these other years, you weren't doing a whole lot of singing. You weren't writing, nothing.
I did a little bit of writing, but not really.
Okay.
Didn't do anything with it.
All right. No, this is good. So we
get
we like going, like we're really tapping into Chanel's journey. This is dope. For those that have been on the show before, this is what I was asking you to do. Y'all didn't do that. So keep going, Chanel. There's no knock against them. This is what I asked y'all to do, but this is perfect. So now you're in the Army.
Yep. So I went off to the Army. It gave me an opportunity to be away from everything I knew. I mean, family. I mean, friends.
Yeah.
I didn't know these people from a can of paint. Then within my first year in the Army, I got deployed. So I was living in Kuwait for an entire year.
Wow. How was that?
And it was it changed my life drastically.
Okay.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me how to be organized, even though I'm still working on that.
Okay.
It taught me how to be organized. It taught me survival. It taught me direction.
So were you were you out when you were out there? What was the environment like? Were you always around like the Army people or?
Yes.
Okay.
24/7. All I saw was the uniform.
Wow.
But what I discovered was these are normal people. These people have passions too. There was a lot of singers. There was a lot of people who play instruments, a lot of poets.
Wow.
So we had like a club where we did poetry and everything. It was called the Camp Arab John Poetry Night at Starbucks out there. We had a Starbucks on our base.
Okay.
And I got to sing, and I'm like, it's crazy how I had to come all the way over here to discover that, okay, yeah, you know you can sing, but you really gonna do something with this, because they really like put me on a platform, and whenever I would sing, like I would get a lot of amazing feedback. So I'm like, maybe I do have some purpose in this.
Yeah.
So I really started singing when I got out there. Then I'm thinking, when I get home, I'm just gonna sing. I don't care what else happened. I'm gonna just sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kept on singing. So you came back. So how long did you serve?
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So you came back home. But in the between time, you still came and visit your family and all that, right?
No. Well, I got to visit one time.
So how long were you out there?
A year.
Okay, and then where'd you go after that?
So when I deployed back here to Cleveland, Ohio, and then I was stationed in Canton.
Okay.
So then at that point I was in the Army Reserves.
Okay.
And then I got back into work, where I was working at the Cleveland Clinic as a patient service rep. So I basically checked patients in for appointments, schedule like procedures, so things of that nature.
Gotcha.
And then I began to work at the VA hospital, where I did administrative work in hospice care. So like my life is like really crazy. I know I'm
no, that's good.
Lot,
yeah.
But each one of these jobs pushed me to a different point.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, I stepped out on faith, and I walked away from the Cleveland Clinic, the VA hospital, and the Army to fulfill singing and hairstyling. Didn't know where it was gonna go, but I knew I'm not fit for a 9 to 5. I'm not. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Not saying it to take away from anybody else, but
for sure. That makes sense. So there's like some gaps. So, you working. Did you start singing then? Would you start writing around this time? Cleveland Clinic, VA?
Yep.
Okay.
I would sing and I would write in between, but it was never consistent.
Were you doing like shows during this time too?
Yes.
Okay.
I was doing a lot of church events. Then that's when I really started to sing for the Cavs. and the Browns and the Indians kind of like around the same time.
Okay.
So, and then it was, like I said, 2012 when I released my first Christmas album. And then 2016 was when I released my first all original album, Songs of Chanel Angelique.
Okay.
And then recently I released Above Sea Level. So.
So I want to go to that moment when you hit the stage for the first time. Where was it at?
The first time you know what?
Or even was it back at the base?
Oh, when I was deployed.
Was that the first time?
So actually, my very first time hitting the stage was when I was in a choir when I was 7.
Okay.
So I was in my granddad's choir.
Yeah.
But then it was just like I was forced to do it. So you know, when you were a little kid,
I get it. So you got a little older. So what was your first time as like a teenager or even like early 20s?
I want to say in middle school.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to sing in a talent show, and I was so scared to the point where I was holding the mic and it was shaking. But that
Why
was
were
my
you
first
so scared?
time. I didn't believe in myself.
Gotcha.
I didn't believe that I could sing as good as the girl who I was singing with, and I was never used to. Because you never know what the audience is thinking. When you stand in front of an audience, you never know what they're thinking or expecting.
Right.
And if you're not good enough, it will show, and either they will clap for you or they will boo you off the stage or they will get really quiet. So at that point, it was lack of confidence.
Okay. And so that first time, like, how did you critique yourself? Like, when you were walking off, like, I did super awesome, or man, you blew it, or you did all right.
You know what? I used to beat myself up so bad. Like, whenever I got done singing, people would say, oh, you did so good. I would be like, but I messed up so bad. Like, I would always aim for that one glitch or that one point where I messed up. And then it was basically me trying to explain why I didn't do as good as I thought. Just, like I said, not believing in myself, not having confidence like I should.
Do you feel like you do that in other areas of your life right now?
Yes. Yeah, I do. When I mess up, I'm very hard on myself. Like, very, very hard on myself.
Yeah.
I cry a lot when I make a mistake. To me, it's not just a mistake. To me, it's almost the end of the world.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
That makes sense. So where do you think that came from?
I know as a child, you know, sometimes we can feel like no matter what we do, or not just as a child, but mainly in past relationships, just feeling like nothing I will ever do is right.
Yeah.
So, and just wanting the people around me to be happy. You know, sometimes you can be a people pleaser. Sometimes you can really, try to, like, when people don't agree with you or when people, like, you do something to mess up, sometimes you can be really hurt about it because you want people to accept you. You want the people who are in your life to love you and receive you. And when that goes wrong, sometimes it's like I said, almost the end of the world.
Yeah. But then what if they never even said, I'm disappointed with you, I'm pleased with you? Is it still hard to be like, you suck, Chanel, like, you could have did better?
You know what? Sometimes in the beginning, yes. And then sometimes, and this is for not just me, this is for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to get to a point and say, you know what? If the shoe was on the other foot, would I have forgiven that person? And then sometimes you have to say, you know, I'm only in control of my feelings and my behavior, and just let it go. And that's easier said than done, but I've had to do that before.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, you know, you started singing, doing your thing. Then what made you say, I want to drop an album, I can do this?
I always gave up when things got hard.
Mm.
And then I will always talk about how I was going to release an album, but I never had the confidence. I never thought my voice sounded as good as some people would say. So what I would do was I would set goals and I would never finish them.
Gotcha.
So when I did my first album, I said, I'm going to do this at all costs. No matter what the reaction is going to be, I'm just going to do it. And because if I can do it one time, then I can do it more than once.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm just going to stop giving up when things get too hard.
Yeah. What impresses you the most about Chanel?
And a lot of people think I'm so crazy for this, but I am so fearless. I think what made me realize it is my mother.
Okay.
Like, even when I joined the military, she was like, what? Because if I'm afraid of something, I do it purposely because I want to conquer fears. Like I have a phobia of funerals, but I get called to sing at funerals, and I purposely make myself go, and I sing, and then I can't sleep the next day or that night, but I do it anyways to conquer the fear.
That's what's up. So what do you not like about yourself?
Sometimes I feel like I'm too sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like what, just family or your relationship?
I think that when going back to like if I do something wrong or something that people may not agree with, and when it boils down to being a confrontation, I just like I might throw my hands up around people. I might argue or I might.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But when it's just me and it's a closed door, I will literally break down crying or. So sometimes I feel like I'm maybe a little too sensitive.
Okay. All right. So what motivates you?
Whew. It's one thing I always say. When I see people jogging in the wintertime, that's one thing.
Okay.
Whitney Houston, she motivates me because, like, even though you know how her life ended, her voice was so beautiful, and I feel like she still touches people after she's gone. And that's what I want to do. My family, they motivate me. My mother, like I just want to give my mom the whole world.
Yeah.
And sometimes I motivate myself. You know, I think like, you know what, when I think about the bad stuff about myself, one time I wrote down like a whole list of amazing things that I've done, and I'm like, okay, so that helps to motivate me also.
Gotcha. All right, so Chanel, do you realize the opportunity that you have, like, to really impact thousands?
Sometimes yeah, and sometimes no.
Yeah, I get it. But it's just like you have that opportunity. When I think about the story of Esther, how like they said, for such a time as this. You know what I'm saying? And when you like read that book, God's name isn't mentioned not one time, but you know, like he all in it, you know? So it's just like, I just want to encourage you, like, as you go along your journey, like, don't try to fit into this box that some people might want to put you in, whether they inside the church or outside the church. Like, he is giving you something special to connect with your audience and thousands, millions of people all around the world. So they're always going to need the authentic you, like who you really, really are. That's really going to help transcend the culture, help your family, friends, people that love you. Like, continue to be you and let that shine out so strong that everything else about you gets hidden, but the real you comes out.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That was very inspirational.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And it's such a blessing to be in the midst of people who, even if, you know, like I said, if they're not doing the same thing as you, they are doing something. Like, even with your show, like, like we were just having a conversation about, how like things may not be exactly where we want them right now, but people will look and you will be able to say like, hey, this is how my life was now. But when I get where I'm going, I can explain to people who may be where I used to be, like, this is where I was too.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Perry used to sleep in his car.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
he's extremely rich.
Yeah.
And he makes amazing films. Like, and I do believe your show is gonna go extremely far. It's gonna go as far as you want it to go. And it's just, it's a blessing. And then you have a beautiful family, so it's those are goals.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I want to encourage you as well. Keep up the good fight.
Yeah.
You are author. Your wife is an author. That's goals there.
Yeah.
So I mean, just keep up the hard work and don't get discouraged and be authentic. Like you told me when I asked how should I be in the interview, you were saying just be real. Continue to be the real you, and you'll go extremely far.
Oh, I appreciate that. All right, so do you have like any last words for the people?
I always do. So I would say this, and this is, like I said before, this is not to take away from what anybody wants to do, but when you figure out the one thing that you want to do, or it could be multiple things, give it your whole heart, your undivided attention. Don't allow things to distract you. Don't allow trials to stop you. Allow it to be motivation to push you further. If you know that there's something you want to do, but there's something that's standing in the way of it, remove yourself. Don't let anything stop you. Life is not about a second chance after we gone. Like, this is the one life you get. So when it's done, it's done. So make it really meaningful. Live the life that you want to live, as long as it's positive and moral. Not saying be reckless or crazy out here, but yeah, just do something that'll have people to remember you when you are no longer here. That's all I got.
I love it. All right, please give them all your information to get in contact with you, how to get the album, all that.
All right, so my website is www.chanelangelique.com, and you can find me on Facebook, Chanel Angelique, Instagram @ChanelAngelique. My hair braiding page is bridalbeauty_CA. So that's how you can find me. And then my album is available on iTunes, Spotify for Android users, Amazon Music, and then I have hard copies for sale on my online store on my website. So yeah, just keep a lookout. I have more projects coming out in the near future. My YouTube is Chanel Angelique. I try to keep it consistent. Yep. So thank you everybody who has been supportive of me and my journey, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and y'all go get the album. Like, it's dope for real. I gotta listen to it now, so I don't try to turn it off for too many times listening to it. I like it a whole lot now. She major dope. And Chanel, you got my support. I'm in the stands for you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
I root you on. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, y'all. We out. Manny Hall Show. Peace.